coming up here today, y'all. Chris Colbert versus Toso Nambiar. I'm surprised I got that name right. Um, they're going to be fighting tonight, and a lot of people who are not familiar. I'm not that familiar with Chris Colbert because you know, he hasn't had any real big fights, and he hasn't really fought nobody significant. He's like a junior, uh, a junior champion at the WBA on that sanctioning body side. So if you know anything about boxing, the WBA, it has uh, had a few big names, but nobody you can really, that they don't really get the huge names like IBF or the WBC uh, type sanctioning bodies who get all the champions. They're almost like one tier above the IBO or something like that. So, but yeah, Chris Colbert, he's trying to vie for attention, and that's why he does the pink hair, and he does these outlandish, flamboyant things to garner attention to himself. But if he just keep winning and he keep knocking out these guys, he's gonna get there. But he don't need to do like he's doing in the media, saying all kind of outlandish things. Like he said something about Wilder, and he had said some outlandish things about he's a sucker and these kind of things. That's unnecessary because right now it's popular to try to humiliate and say disrespectful things about Wilder and Tank in the top black heavyweights right now. I mean, not black heavyweight, Wilder and the other black fighters who are becoming stars in boxing, like Errol Spence Jr. So it's almost like it's a whole agenda to suppress, the black fighters who are really, really becoming stars in boxing, and it's almost like a conspiracy, and you can see it how the media rank the fighters. Jamel Charlo, even though he himself is saying he's trying to jump on the status quo wagon by saying derogatory things about the heavyweight champion of the world, Deontay Wilder, and they're trying to. It's almost like there's a fear that Wilder's going to beat Tyson Fury, and it's like some kind of psychological attack or something that they're doing against Deontay Wilder and the black fighters, because all these articles are coming out about how Tank is not an elite fighter. Um, they try to keep quiet about Errol Spence because basically he's like all American type guy. You know what I'm saying? He's you can't root against Errol Spence Jr. though. The only reason his uh, popularity right now is dimming is because he's fighting Pacquiao, and we all know how Pacquiao fans are. They're totally crazy about Manny Pacquiao, no matter who he's fighting. They think he's like Superman or whatever. But I mean, the man is a legend. But let's just keep it real. Pacquiao, he's 42 years old, and a lot of people don't want to root against him. They see that as some kind of treason or something. But it's not about rooting against him. It's about staying rooted in reality, right? So some of us can keep it real and still like the fighters that fighting against the dudes that we're rooting for. So I don't know. It's just like some boxing fans can't seem to get that through their heads. So it's almost these teams, that they're creating, like either you're for Canelo or you're against Canelo. You want Canelo to fight the safe fights, but you don't want him to fight anybody who may be able to beat him. So There's a lot of propaganda out there, against black fighters from coming up, and you can see the fear in old media. Um, I think Stephen A. Went on air to plead with Wilder not to fight Tyson Fury. And that, in all my years of watching sports, I've never seen these broadcasters, be so opinionated and be so, obviously overtly biased. Of course, we've seen um, Letterman, uh, not Letterman, but Larry Merchant on HBO. And we remember, if you go back as far as I do in boxing, you remember Larry Merchant always like just saying just always hating on Roy Jones or Mayweather performance. No matter what kind of performance Mayweather had, he always has some kind of backhanded compliment, to give these guys. And you can see this in boxing and the media nowadays. They don't, they want to put the they want to put the non-black fighters up there. They want to put, anybody who's not black. They want to put them as the face of boxing, and it just shows a fear, And they go so far with the disrespect towards Deontay Wilder that you can see is outside the norm, and it's like they're afraid to have a black heavyweight American heavyweight champion of the world, because the narratives are about costumes, how heavy his costumes is, and they rarely take the man, from what he said. They try to misconstrue everything he says and make it outlandish, like like there's no chance there's no chance in what Wilder is saying. So they gaslighting him at every chance they can get, to try to drive him crazy, to get him off his game, to make him angry. But I think the fear is real about Deontay Wilder. They see how seriously he's training for Fury, and they want to keep the narrative to where they can, big up Tyson Fury. And the thing is, and the most interesting thing is how is it's about racial tensions and stuff like that, is because outside of Wilder, Tyson gets no love, man. He don't get any love at all. Like, his fights don't sell. He don't get any backing or anything. And not only that, it's like they know that Tyson Fury, has no boxing license in England. You know what I'm saying? He don't have a boxing license in his own country because he's running from a case for PEDs. From when he fought Christian Hammer, and during that same year, months later, he fought Klitschko, and even Klitschko knows that Tyson Fury uses PEDs and HEH, or Mandrome, I think it's called, to enhance his performances against these fighters. And yet, you see they don't care, even though I know they research this stuff, and that they know this. So, but they still don't care because they don't like Wilder. They don't care about Tyson Fury's PED uses. It's the same with a lot of fighters who use steroids, because they represent a cultural win instead of a fair fight. And when it comes down to boxing, they just want the win. They don't want the fairness. And so they'll do anything they can to make it seem like, you're crazy that he's cheated, even though you can clearly see his fist at the bottom of the gloves in those pictures. They'll say stuff like it's Photoshop. Those pictures were Photoshop. No, bruh. No, those are his fists you see between the laces in the glove. The glove shouldn't be loose, and blood should not be on the man hand wraps. You see it, right before your eyes, but that's a part of boxing now, and they're pushing the agenda that black fighters don't sell, even though they're breaking records. Even though Tank just had Mayweather. I mean, it's just crazy if you don't, just acknowledge that there's an agenda to suppress these black fighters. Shakur, who's uh, Shakur Stevenson, who is just a phenomenal fighter. Who he really can't be touched unless he wants to be touched, kind of like Devin Haney. And these fighters are not getting their just due because of the power of the system that's going on in the media and the power of the system that's at hand right now. So it's like it's just disgusting to see, but um, you're not going to be able to suppress the excellence that's from these fighters. It's just they're just too good. And right now, Colbert, there's a payoff. You get a reward for dissing Wilder right now. You get a bump in your old media, you know, cachet if you diss Wilder right now. That's the hottest thing going. So you'll probably get 5 million views on YouTube you know if you do a video going against Wilder. So I've never been like that, man. You know what I'm saying? I always just tell it like it is or like I see it. And if you disagree, it is what it is. You got people on this thing pushing lies and look like that's the way of the world. Nobody wants to just be honest and just say just tell it like it is, like my boy Howard Cosell used to say, just tell it like it is, right? So anyway, Chris Colbert, he's a funny character, but he has a lot of talent. You may like him or dislike him personally. When he goes into the ring, you can see the athletic ability. You can see he's definitely got that speed. You know what I'm saying? He got quick feet. He can punch you from angles. And this guy, Toso Nambiar, um, he fought Gary Russell, and of course, he don't have the same abilities, as as the top athletic fighters or anything like that. But Toso Nambiar, I don't think he's going to last, 4 rounds. That's why I don't think this fight is generating a lot of buzz. Um, I think that Nambiar is probably going to get up out of there because Chris has just got way too much offense. He's just got his reflexes are amazing, and I don't think Nambiar is going to be able to, you know, give him a problem. Even though he's long and everything and lengthy, but it's not going to be a problem for Chris Colbert. Just too much athletic ability, too many gifts. Um, one thing, I don't know, I'm just old school, that the hair, the orange hair, gotta go. The orange pink hair. I mean, I know it's a marketing thing, but you know what I'm saying. He looks like it's a little like SpongeBob or some kind of shit. Come on, bro. You know what I'm saying. You got to find another look. You know, but other than that, he's an excellent fighter, and I think that he's gonna be one of the fighters that have to come across Devin Haney, the Ryan Garcias, and Devin Haney, Teofimo Lopez, and those fighters. How will he do against them? I don't know. I think he would. I think Tank would beat him. I think Devin would beat him, but that would be a good scrap. That would be him and Devin would be a good scrap. I think Tank would knock him out. I think Devin might outpoint him. I don't know. That would be a good one. That would be a good fight right there between Chris Colbert and Devin Haney. I think he would definitely beat Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia, man, what's going on? Once again, he's calling out Tank, man. It's like he needs to keep it real, man, because he's just messing up his reputation with all his Instagram pretty boy stuff. You know what I'm saying? Oscar was the golden boy, but man, Oscar could fight. You know what I'm saying? Oscar De La Hoya. He fought his rivals, man. He fought everybody. So when you see the Canelos and the Ryan Garcias, they talk a lot of shit about uh, Oscar De La Hoya, man, but they're not Oscar De La Hoya. You look at his record, man. He fought some of the best fighters out there, man. Despite his personal life, you know what I'm saying? Shoot, man, Canelo is not Oscar De La Hoya, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's just that, you know, there hasn't been, a Mexican fighter, that's have that kind of skill in a while. And Canelo, I'm gonna tell you, he has skill, but he's not fighting the best. And that's everybody's problem. They try to make it seem like people are worried about his Mexican heritage, but Canelo uses his Mexican heritage to cover for what he's doing. And so long as he has his fan base and his protection, so it don't reflect in his sales, he can do what he want to do. So really, he's kind of above the law with the duck belt and the WBC. Is ran by his people. So he's going to be a protected fighter. You know what I'm saying? And that's just what it is. So you know, they talking about people hating, but there's never been a fighter that I can remember. Maybe Chavez, they protected him the same way. Um, because Purnell beat him single-handedly. There's a few fighters beat him, and he got the nod. On the unanimous decision. Oscar got a few gifts, but I could forgive Oscar because he fought so many great fighters in their prime, and he wasn't afraid. He wasn't trying to look for them to be weak. He fought them at their strongest, and I think that's the difference between Oscar De La Hoya and Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez tried to wait till fighters look bad. He tried to wait for them to be off their game, and you have boxing fans saying, "Well, that seemed like good business to me." No, bruh. No, it ain't about that. It's about boxing, bro. It's about fighting prime for prime, or as close as prime to prime as you can to fight the best. And it just kind of kills boxing when you have these kind of boxing fans looking at boxing. It ain't about boxing for them. It's about other shit. You know, so I'm not with that. You know what I'm saying? I want to see. I want to see. Tank. I want to see Devin Haney fight. I want to see the best fight the best. And I think that I think when people get certain stars, certain coaches get certain stars, they want to protect them from any harm. And if they think people can't see that, then you're stupid. You're just plain stupid. If you can't see that people want this protection for their favorite fighters, because anybody who they think can beat their fighter, be like, what have they done, bruh? Those are excuses. Those are cop outs. So you just got to keep it real. So Chris Colbert, he was saying like he got this little thing, this little beef he had started with Errol Spence Jr. And he was saying, he pick against Errol Spence Jr. every time Errol Spence Jr. fights, and he called him flat-footed, and I'm just like, what is going on? What I'm saying? You are at 135, bro. What are you? Tank that used to do that too. He's matured, so Tank used to talk all kind of crazy stuff, tweet crazy stuff about other fighters. It's like these guys be, I know you're in competition, but they be jealous of each other. And I think Errol Spence snapped back by saying, that Colbert is upset because he's getting the straps. He's getting the straps, so he's upset because of that, and he basically saying that he's hating on Errol Spence, hating on himself because PBC isn't really giving him the big fights, and it's just an all petty mess and stuff. These guys are still young. I mean, I know Spencer's 31, but how often do you hear Errol Spence coming out crazy? But I think um, Chris Colbert is kind of like the Kanye West of the 135 division. Him and Ryan Garcia, they're gonna come out and say all kind of things to attract attention for themselves, to get noticed. This is Chris Colbert weekend to shine, to go in and perform, and he wants all eyes on his performance. So I guess if he have to say outlandish stuff, to garner attention, he's gonna do it. And it's kind of sad, but it is what it is, man. It's just the way it is, bro. Um, but I predict that he will probably get this guy out of there. Probably about 4 or 5 rounds. Depends on how far Chris Colbert want to carry the guy. I don't see him having a problem um, beating him. So I don't think there's going to be many eyes on this fight, except for just the hardcore fans, like myself and others, who love boxing. Um, so, but pretty much, let me see what else we got going on. We got the Canelo versus Caleb Plant. That fight don't seem like that's gonna happen. Look like negotiation broke down. Maybe it's just they're still doing the tactics to where uh, he goes up, they go down, and stalling. That fight may or may not happen, but right now negotiations don't look too good. Feel like the fight is off for now. Um, we got Jamel Charlo versus Brian Costano coming up July 17th, and that's starting to heat up. And press conferences going to start. I think they already started with that. Jamel Charlo starting to make his rounds about that fight coming up, and that's going to be the fight. Before that's going to be the preamble to Wilder versus Fury. That's going to get everybody bloods pumping right there. Um, to see Jamel versus Brian Costano, that's going to be a good fight. I don't think Brian Costano is not coming to lay down. He's not coming to lay down. But I don't want to do too much on it because it's going to get closer to that. Now, have more room to cover that later on. But this has been Pool Kind of Boxing. Hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. And I'll see you guys in the next one. We'll do a post-fight reaction video to this fight, after this fight tonight. And, you guys let me know. Leave a comment, man. And come on and join them live stream, you know what I'm saying? And, we could chop it up about boxing. Maybe my co-host, Steve, will be here at that time. So see you guys in the next one, man.